Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just a little over 3 months away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is, of course, going to end the Skywalker saga in a very satisfying way for the Star Wars fans. At least that's what Disney and Lucasfilm are approaching and are aiming to do with this movie in order to really make it a very special film and really a historical event for Star Wars fans. It really is going to be a big event once this movie drops in theaters come this December. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the big plans by Disney, Lucasfilm, George Lucas, and JJ, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, it's explained that during the rewrites of the film for the months of November and December of 2018 is when George Lucas was significantly involved with the adjustment of the second and third acts of the film. It's explained that George Lucas directed and wrote a large part of the final scene of the movie, that the final scene of the film is said to involve a big twist related to Luke Skywalker's legacy, as well as Darth Vader's legacy that will take fans by surprise. It said that the final scene was inspired by a Star Wars Legends book that involved both Luke and Darth Vader's legacy that was cancelled back in 2002, and that the plot of that book played a large role in the decision of how the film The Rise of Skywalker should end. It's described that Vader's legacy and Luke's legacy will be used in a very specific and unique way in the final scene of the film, and will take place on a very familiar world with Star Wars fans that they will truly enjoy. The scene is also said to contain a very special score by John Williams that took roughly 1 whole week to record, where it was detailed to the point where it almost includes every single theme of the Skywalker saga. And that it is said to be an ending that will leave fans talking about this particular sequence for years. So, let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, what's really intriguing about Episode 9 is that you can really see that they really are taking a lot of different risks, as well as inserting different pieces of nostalgia, and cherry-picking from the EU and, of course, scrapped material from the 1990s and, of course, the early 2000s. So this final scene that was actually said to be rewritten back in November and December of 2018, and of course reshot during the year of 2019 this year, is of course where it's said to involve the final sequence that is said to involve a big twist and turn involving both Darth Vader's legacy and Luke Skywalker's legacy at the same exact time. Now, this really does open up one's mind. It really does make one wonder exactly what's going on here in the final scene of Episode 9 and why there would even be a twist related to both Luke and Darth Vader's legacy. Well, it could have something to do with both Rey and Kylo Ren's story, as Kylo Ren is affiliated with Darth Vader, and of course Rey is more so affiliated with Luke Skywalker. But not just that, it's said to take place on a very familiar world of the Skywalker saga, so that could very well mean that we are going back to Tatooine, or maybe even Endor once again, or one of those worlds, right? I think that that is exactly what they're aiming to do. Now, given that this movie is said to be the darkest Star Wars film to date, is it going to end on a very dark note, or is it going to end on a very heartwarming, style? That, to me, is a big question open on the table for discussion. I'm really hoping that they're going to be able to really top, or at least make an ending that will be equal to that of the ending of the Battle of Endor in, of course, Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, the Endor celebration, if you will. To be honest, I think it's going to be impossible to really top that ending of Episode 6, and it's really going to be a very hard task to complete. So the other piece that I do want to go over is that it's said that John Williams actually recorded an entire track that is dedicated to the final scene of Episode 9. Now, that to me tells us a lot of things. It tells us that this particular sequence is not only going to be very important, but it's going to be very legendary, because John Williams' new track for the ending of Episode 9, the final scene of the movie, is said to contain nearly every single theme of the Skywalker saga, compiled into one massive track. And that took roughly 1 week to record. You can only imagine, right? So, not only are we going to have a lot of revisions of past Star Wars, songs that will be inserted into episode 9, but this particular song is said to be basically the culmination of all the Skywalker saga songs and or music that was used from episode 1 all the way up until episode 9. And I think that's going to be a very interesting sound to hear on, once the movie actually arrives come this December, and exactly how the fans are going to react to it all, and how it's really going to resonate with fans, right? I think the fact that the final scene is centered on Luke and Vader's legacy could very well mean that there's going to be a heartwarming ending and yet also a dark ending to The Rise of Skywalker. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.